Welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast.
Here's a sneak peek into what we're going to cover in this week's episode of the Echo Tips Podcast.
To set up an Echo device, connect it to your Wi-Fi network, sign in with your Amazon account, and follow the on-screen instructions. Select the Echo device type, and the device will be set up.
Well, hello, and welcome to the podcast. As you could tell from our prelude this week, we're going to be talking about setting up a new Amazon Echo. We recently had some buying guides about buying Amazon Echoes, buying Amazon Echo shows, and buying even Fire TV sticks, which all have the A-Lady built in where you can use voice commands and do some pretty nifty stuff. And so we talked a lot about those, and so if you're interested in what is new hardware, old hardware, good prices, bad pricing on sales, by all means go back and check out those episodes. And we may even mention some of those figures today just as a reminder. But now that hopefully maybe you have an Echo on order, or you're looking to buy one this season or get one for a family member, I thought I'd refresh us on the setup procedure, which has kind of changed over time, and there's different ways to approach it. Now, first off, I'd like to welcome everyone to the podcast, especially our new listeners. Welcome, new listeners. You're listening to the Echo Tips Podcast. I'm the host, David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill. And just to tell you a little about what you're listening to, the Echo Tips Podcast has nuggetized little episodes. We try to keep it 5 to 15 minutes long. Sometimes they've been going a little longer lately when there's a lot to say. And we try to cover all sorts of topics connected to the A-Lady devices, the Echoes, the Pringle can that was the original, the ones with the screens, the shows. And like I said, we even touch on other devices like the Fire TV now and again. But we cover every gambit of that, from home automation to parents and configuring it for their children and children using it. Some pretty cool things we covered with kids. We've covered about caregivers and seniors and just so many things over the past 5 seasons, and now we're in our 6th, and we're well over 120,000 listens to the podcast. So it's a pleasure to have you new listeners with us, and you returning listeners as well. It's really good to have you guys back with us. So let's delve. We're going to delve right into the basic setup procedures and some different ways you can approach it. And it's really kind of changed over time, but this will be helpful for you if you're setting up one for a family member, or like I said, you're setting up one for yourself again. But before we delve into that in any sort of detail, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then we will be right back. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again, and welcome back to the podcast. As I was saying earlier, we're going to be talking about that new Echo that you're taking out of a box and how you set it up. And so there's a lot of different things that have changed over time. This used to be a little more complicated, the way you did it and the app, and you could even in the old days, oldie days, could set it up with a computer as well, which is not really, I think, a thing anymore. It's not really, you need the app, We're going to discuss that, aren't we? So anywho, let's delve right into this. And in fact, I will even ask our A lady how to do a setup. If you have an Echo in hearing distance of me, you may want to shut its ears off. So let's just see what the Echo says about this. And I'll probably give you some different advice than it will give. Okay? All right, let's rock on. Alexa, how do I set up an Echo device?
To set up an Echo device, connect it to your Wi-Fi network, sign in with your Amazon account, and follow the on-screen instructions. Select the Echo device type, and the device will be set up.
Okay. I think that was different than what she's told me before. It was kind of generic and vague, but let's just proceed from there on. So some basic things. The Echoes that have no screen, that would be the Echo Pop we've talked about, which has recently been on sale lately for like $17. That's a snow globe shaped form factor. The one bigger than that is the Echo Dot. Then you have the Echo, and then you have the Echo Studio. And those are all the basic models, and they've changed in form factors over the years. But anyway, all the ones without a screen have one kind of style setup procedure, or all the ones with a screen have a different setup procedure, a little different. So let's start off with the ones that have no screen. So that would be the Echo Pop, the Echo Dot, the Echo, and the Echo Studio. Okay, so those devices, as would seem likely, have no keyboard. They have no real interface on the outside, so there's no way to really kind of like intuit to them, hey, this is the Wi-Fi password. And they operate on internet and they need Wi-Fi. So that's one of the things, no matter which one of these setup procedures you're doing with the Echo Shows or the Echoes, that is the ones without a screen or with a screen, is you're going to need to have your Wi-Fi password. Now, if you're using a typical cable or fiber optic provider, very often they put a little sticker on your cable modem or router, and it will often say on there something like Wi-Fi password or Wi-Fi key or WPA2 key, something like that. And then it'll have some gloobly glop, like AX21546225-3. Well, probably have a dash, but something like that, basically. And it's probably all capitalized. It may have a mix of caps and lowercase. So make sure you have that password. Now, I will put one extra caveat up here for some of y'all who are doing home automation and stuff like that. If the Echo is part of your home automation process and you're wanting to control light bulbs, microwaves, whatever those kind of things are, and you've segregated your network to all your home automation stuff is on one Wi-Fi channel, say Dave's home automation, then you want to make sure that you put the A lady on that same Wi-Fi network and not Dave's standard home network or whatever it's called, right? So you can segregate those two, and the reason I mention that, sometimes they would call that a guest network, is often they're firewalled off from each other. So if you put your Echo probably on the one that was the wrong one, it may not be able to reach the light bulbs, or you might run into some problems. So I just thought I'd mention that up front. Okay, so along with the Wi-Fi password, the only other thing you probably would need would be applicable to the show devices, which is I've been reading here that you may, well, I know for a fact you would need your Amazon password. So your Amazon username and password if you already have one set up. And it mentions too in some of the notes that if you have a Spotify or Apple Music or some sort of other third-party music service provider, you may need to know its username and password. I'm not too sure about that one, but yeah. And that's assuming probably you haven't already set it up with a premium Amazon account. So if you've ever had an Echo before and you're setting up another one, a new one for yourself, this process could be a whole lot easier and almost turnkey. In fact, I think if you buy it online under your Amazon account, there's usually a checkbox there that makes it come pretty much pre-configured. So out of the box, I think all you pretty much have to do is plug it in and it pretty much connects. There may be an extra security layer on the Echo Shows where you might have to type in a password, but generally that's supposed to help pre-configure it a little bit. Okay, so let's address if you haven't prefigured it, or you're setting up one for a family member who has no Amazon account or hasn't ever used it for this or never had an Echo before. So if you take one out of the box that has no screen and you plug it in, give it a few seconds, it will boot up and it will pretty much announce what you need to do. Now on those line of devices, you're going to need an app on a smartphone or a tablet. And you're going to need the Alexa app. Now, sometimes it's listed as Amazon Alexa. On the Apple ecosystem, that is iPhones and iPads, you'll go into the App Store and probably just search for Alexa. It'll usually be the second listing down, because usually there's an ad at the top. And you want to just make sure it comes from a company that says AMZN Mobile LLC. If you're in the Apple App Store, it's AMZN, all caps, Mobile LLC. So I'm only saying that because over the years I've set up hundreds of these and had students set up hundreds of them, and on one occasion or two occasions, I think it was at least one, I had somebody install an entirely bogus app that had nothing to do with it. So I don't want that to happen to anybody, so just bear that in mind. Now, if you're installing this on an Android tablet or smartphone, you will do that through the Google Play Store, their version of the App Store, their App Store. And in a similar vein, it is listed under Amazon Alexa. But the company that's listed is actually Amazon, I believe, Mobile LLC. It's actually spelled the whole word out, Amazon Mobile LLC. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out. Now, if you are installing this app and you go in there, you'll just log in with your Amazon credentials. If you already have independently bought things on Amazon or bought things on Amazon, that will take you right in. If not, you can just follow the sign up procedure at the beginning of the app, and there's no need for a credit card or anything like that. And so you can just set that up real quick. You may want to jot a separate note down somewhere about what the password is that you made for it, so that if you do need to get on a computer or something, then you can do that, because you don't want to lose probably that. But anyway, yeah, you log in and you do that. Now, if you're inside the app, you can I would encourage you, and this is a great idea for any of the newer devices, make sure that your Bluetooth is on your phone before you launch the app, or go out of the app, turn Bluetooth on, and come back in the app. Most of the modern Echoes use a Bluetooth-like pairing thing that is almost like totally automatic, and you will just go into the app and it'll be like, boom, I see you have a new Echo in range. Would you like to set it up? And it's completely super simple. And you would just follow the setup procedure. On your phone in the app, you're going to be asked what Wi-Fi network you want to connect it to. You're going to need to type in the password, and pretty much off to the races you go. I will say, be cautious of the final steps of the setup process. They will like to try to do a lot of upselling on you, try to sell you an Amazon Unlimited package for music. They'll try and sell you probably Audible subscription. Gosh knows what they're going to try and sell you. They might try and sell you Amazon Guard security service, or the seniors and elderly protection program called ALXCA Together. Who knows? They could probably try and upsell you on a lot of things. They lose a lot of money on these things, so they're trying to get into the black. But anyway, just bear that in mind. It may also try and do set you up for communication capabilities, where it wants to look at your address book and phone numbers, so that it can make a connection that Billy Bob, know Peggy Sue, and Peggy Sue knows you, and that way you guys can call each other through your Echoes. Okay, so that is basically it. Once that's all done, the Echo will announce when you are connected to it, and it will also announce when it's completed and set up. While it's in the setup process, you'll see that it has that little orange light. Now, for any reason things go sideways, you can always force close the app on your phone. I would encourage you to either unplug the Echo or press and hold down the action button. That's usually the one that has the bump on the top. Let me see. Does this one have a bump on the top? It might have took the bump off, but yeah, you would press that and hold that down, and that will put it back into setup mode. So that would be the thing to do. Okie dokie. And okay, yeah. So now, if you have an Amazon Echo Show, that is the one with the screens, the app is almost an auxiliary component to this. You don't really need the app to set it up. You do it all on the touchscreen interface, from the 5-inch Echo Show 5 to the 8-inch to the 10-inch to the 15-inch. You set it up on the screen. And so you would boot it up. It's going to ask to connect to Wi-Fi. It can't really do anything because it's pretty dumb at that point. You would select your Wi-Fi network, and you would type in the password. And then after that, it's going to ask you to log into your Amazon account. So it's very much like the app in that regards. So you would log into your Amazon account, or if you don't have an account, you would at that point hit the sign up and set up a new account. Once again, probably a good idea to jot your password down somewhere, so that in case you do need to log into that on another device. I would imagine you're probably going to get some upsell on that device as well. I'm not too sure if it'll be as bad as the app, but just be careful and cautious of that as well. And it has mentioned here on the online setup procedures, the official guide from Amazon.com, that you may need to set up third-party music providers and stuff. You may be prompted at that point to make those connections if you've never done it before. And then in such a case, you might need the username and password for your Spotify account or whatever you're using. You just bear that in mind. Now, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you'll get a lot of free music for free and stuff like that. So, okay, so I think that is the basics. Now, to augment your usage of an Amazon Echo Show, you probably want to have the A-Lady app installed on a smartphone or tablet. In case you want to burrow down into deeper settings, you want to do things with routines, you want to find skills in the skills store, you want to do a lot of special customization and configuration, you would need to do it inside of that app. And probably, a lot of it can be done on screen, but and all you need to do is swipe from the top down and then hit the little gear icon if you need to get into the settings on the show devices. Okay, well, anywho, if you'd like to give me thoughts or suggestions for a future episode, you can reach out to us, that is the New Vision Program, at Goodwill, on Facebook or Twitter at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys. And you can even email us, the old-fashioned email, at info@goodwillvalleys.com. Valleys has got an S on the end. The one thing I would say in any of those instances, if it's a post on Facebook or Twitter, or I guess it's called X now, or if you'd like to do an email, just put in the subject line or somewhere in there that you're trying to reach Dave of the New Vision Program or the Echo Tips podcast, and it will be directed to me. Well, until next time, it's time to turn the ears back on your Echo, start practicing some of the many, many things that you've learned. I'm David Ward for the New Vision Program, and we do thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. Let me tell you a bit more. Let me put on my official sounding voice. Ahem, ahem. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Phew! Thanks for listening.